Good evening and welcome to the Stock Farm Technical Complex. My name is Jordan Luke and this evening we are here for a matchup in the DFA Women's Premier Division and it's week 10, Dublanc FC versus Southeast FC, and as you can see some of the Dublanc more notable players coming across. You have Giovanni Gervais, Euclid Bertrand and Junior Ansem coming across as the coaching staff for the team, and they are now walking out. So we apologize for the late start. There was a national women's team training going on, so we had to just give them a bit of time to excuse themselves. But we are just about ready to begin here. Both teams walking out. Dublanc in their white and blue kit and Southeast in their orange and black kit. And just to go over the standings for the Women's Premier League, we have Belfast Estate Mao Soccer Strikettes on top. Then you have New India Assurance, Goodwill Runners, Kalinago Warriors FC in third, Roosevelt Skerrit Portsmouth Bombers FC in fourth, Southeast in fifth, Dublanc in sixth, Harlem in seventh, Kirt Hector Southeast in eighth, and All Saints University in ninth. So this is Southeast, yes, Southeast. So there is actually eight versus 6. Yes, one. Seems that the Southeast team only has 8 players here this evening, whilst Dublanc has 9. So it'll be a game against limited numbers, no substitutions. The ladies will have to battle it out from start to finish. It'll be an interesting matchup. Don't forget, the opportunity is out there for all those of you who are interested in being employed with the Dominica Football Association. There are currently 2 positions up for grabs. The FIFA Forward Coordinator and the Match Commissioner position. 2 very interesting positions. I think the Competitions Coordinator, yes. So as a Competitions Coordinator, you would be responsible for ensuring the leagues go on. Lovely events like what we're about to see, making sure that things happen in the right way. The FIFA Forward project manager, is that correct? You would be responsible for writing projects in relation to the FIFA Forward program. FIFA Forward is the new not really compensation but support mechanism that FIFA had developed after the scandal with Michel Platini and Blatter. I think Jack Warner and our very own Patrick John were some of the names that were involved allegedly in the sale of World Cup bids. So FIFA Forward came up as a way of giving help to those who need it based on a more holistic criteria. Very good initiative by them. It's been, I think this is one of the initiatives of the FIFA Forward program. I would hope so. But we are just about ready to start here. The formalities are over. The assistant referees are going to check the nets, and we should be just about ready to begin. We have not been able to get the starting list for the teams, but considering there are only one group of players, 8 versus 9, we'll get the names and the lineups for you at halftime. Just to confirm. And we're off. Southeast start off with the ball. Trying to be patient, but a giveaway there. A bit of pressure in the forward line. Good attempt there. And play tries to play the ball downfield. But defender here on the near side for Southeast seems to be very active and fit. Captain driving away, trying to get around a man, and does very easily, I must say. No one in the middle, one person there, the ball comes in, and a corner to Southeast. The first real action of the game. Southeast captain taking a very direct approach to the game and winning her team a corner. Short corner. Does very well. Uses the support. Number 19 is there. Very good reverse pass. And the ball comes in. And it's missed there on the back post. And Dublanc is able to clear away. And they're trying to scamper away with the ball. The defender, they're doing a good job. But tackle there by the player who missed the opportunity. And Southeast are still in possession. Very good play to get around her lady. And crosses it in. However, the defense is there. Firm and assured. And Dublanc are finally able to clear the ball. Breakaway thought it there. And the ball is played straight down the field. Can the attacker get there before the goalkeeper? No is the answer. And the goalkeeper plays the ball to the captain, who tries to get around her man. But 19 over 3. And Dublanc will have a throw-in. Throw-in comes in. Throw-in, fall throw, the call. And the throw-in will be given to Dublanc FC. Good to see the Dublanc women's team still alive and kicking. Also good to see some of the men's players supporting the girls. And the ball is pumped forward. However, Surgical Southeast are breaking away and they are now attacking again. A bit of pace there on the wing. However, the player seems very strong, but unable to hold off the defender, who eventually plays that ball out, and it will be a throw-in to Southeast again. Very good bit of just skill there, just to get around 2 opponents, and eventually gets around 2 more opponents, and the shot comes in! And the first shot of the game from the Surgical Southeast captain, number 3, goes just a little bit wide. But there is definitely some life into this game. Surgical, despite having less players, definitely seem to be the team in control of the game so far. They have they've had a corner. They've also had a shot off target. However, they have definitely been the team bringing the pressure. Goal kick is given away. However, Dublanc is able to scramble. And unfortunately, the ball just trickles out of play there. And it goes to Dublanc. Dublanc. Control there goes directly to the Southeast captain. However, the player does a good job of shielding the ball away. A bit too firm there with the touch. You can see the attempt to keep the Dublanc style alive, knocking the ball around. However, the Dublanc girls just seem a bit shy. It may seem they don't seem very confident, but they do seem to have a bit of skill. Also have a very unique jersey. I must say the women's jersey. I think the women's jersey looks a little better than the men's. I like the slash and the solid white color. Ball goes in there. However, straight to the defender and the clearance is made. Good job there by the number 19 for Southeast, escaping a few players. However, the Dublanc are only able to play that ball out for a throw-in. It's not very often that you see a game with 17 players, only 15 off-field, 15 outfield players. The game looks very underpopulated, to say the least, but it's been good so far. I think you've seen both teams really trying to execute. The Dublanc team seems like a very young team. Seems to be a bit more experienced in the Southeast team. Again, a bit of skill there. And the awareness to move the ball on. Attempted pass into open space there, but the player receives and eventually tries to take it there. However, Dublanc is able to get away and get into the opponent half. However, pass is cut out. Captain there covering a lot of ground all the way to the other side of the field. Long ball forward, goes to no one. It'll be a game of mentality here today, because it's very difficult to play with so few players, you know, but individualism will definitely have more of a role, because, and here you have it, spinning away beautifully, getting away from one player, however unable to keep possession. Again, there will be times when the individual skill will get you some good success, however there needs to be support to really make it count. And the pass comes into open space and the shot straight into the arms of the waiting goalkeeper. First shot on target here coming in the 8th minute of play. However, nothing more than a simple catch for the goalkeeper. 2 shots for Southeast. Then the 8th place team definitely seem to be intent on improving their league position. And then you have the number 12, Royer, the medic for the men's team, playing the ball down the line there. However, Southeast goalkeeper seems to be very aggressive, wanting to play the ball out, but the goalkeeper is just running away from the Dublanc forwards. Not often that you see a goalkeeper faster than a striker, and the goalkeeper backpedaling, taking their time, and the save made eventually by the goalkeeper. I think it was a good play to take that time, get back, get there, get herself into a good position to take the shot. However, 2 shots on target coming in 1 minute, 1 for Dublanc, 1 for Southeast. Southeast, the contractors of their own demise. Goalkeeper showing a bit of her physical attributes there, but giving away the ball and almost got her team into some trouble there. The ball comes in, and it will be another corner to Dublanc FC. Second corner in succession. Corner count is now 2-1. Corner comes in short, cleared away at the first man. Ball comes in again and it's controlling the box. And instead of taking the shot, she tries to get past her man, and Sajiko Southeast seem able to clear. Seem to be a bit of a push there. However, the referee says no foul, and the player is able to continue, and they've gone past the entire Dublanc defense, but there is one player in support. Can she find them? She pulls the ball back, lets her man go by, and it's a goal! Sajiko Southeast, Kirt Hector Southeast, sorry. And it's the captain, the number 3, driving all the way forward, getting past the entire defense and slotting the ball into the near corner with her strong foot. Had initially started on the left side, but pulls the ball back, is now over on the right side. And definitely gave her an advantage with a stronger foot being onto the inside of the goal, and she did a very good job of finishing there. Maybe a bit of questions as to the bit of contact. Definitely seemed to be a push in the build up to the goal. However, the referee said there was no infraction and the goal is allowed to stand. 1-0 the score here. Again, it's not the numbers that you have, but the fight. But again, the goalkeeper is very quick and comes out and clears that ball. I don't think that will be a strategy that Dublanc will be able to execute. And a very good touch there on the bounce, defeating the defender, defeating myself with my words, and the shot comes in and the kick save by the goalkeeper, very nonchalant. The goalkeeper's like, you get away, fly. You're not bothered with you right here right now. You're not a threat. And 1-0 to Kirt Hector Southeast over Dublanc. A very good breakaway goal by the captain in number 3. Southeast definitely seem to have 2 main attacking targets, and they have definitely showed themselves here in the first few minutes. Definitely could be a very strong team if they get some more numbers. Not a very good cross from the corner, however, Dublanc returning the favor, and it will be a corner to Southeast. And back-to-back corners on both ends here. Can Dublanc repeat the Southeast trick? However, it does. I think by sheer luck, the ball came off the defender and bobbled its way to goal. The number 19 she's another one who has kind of stood up, able to clear. Dublanc maybe seem a bit uninterested at the front. Some of the Dublanc players don't really seem to show off themselves. And then the Southeast players are very confident, very aggressive, very sharp. Ball won there, but given straight back to Southeast. Striker put it on a bit of pressure, but eventually player escapes. Ball still stolen away, and the striker now is on her own and pushes the ball. However, the defender is there to shut that down, and Dublanc is on the defense again. Southeast, again, the captain driving away confidently from her opponent. Only one person in support, and the cross comes in to find no one. However, the corner, rash decision there. Ball just cleared out. A number of the players seem to be hunched over, maybe a bit of fatigue. This is a very intense type of physical fitness exercise here this evening. It's not very easy to play on an 11-a-side field with only 6 to 7 players. And the poor cross there, and player seems to be having some difficulty striking the ball cleanly. Just a bit of a pause in play before the ball is sent back out again. In midfield with Dublanc. Ball touched away there by the Southeast defender on the far side. However, the ball goes out, and Dublanc will be able to come back again. And we're off. Aerial scenes available on the Facebook page later in the week, over the weekend. Oh, it's great. No matter what you eat. But here you have Southeast winning the ball back. Oh, I thought they would have been on the counter. However, they have been given a chance, and the player on the far side is dribbling away. She did have a very good breakaway earlier in the game, and she seems to have a few skills up her sleeve, and she's away, and she crosses in the ball. However, the goalkeeper is able to catch. She definitely had her players on skates there, cutting back and cutting forward and cutting back and cutting forward. Seemed very competent with her skill there and did a good job of eventually escaping. Good job there. Senior player supporting a younger player, but the pass this time was a bit too soft, and the defender there coming up very solid for Southeast, the number 19, playing in the number 20, who's finally getting a chance. She's really been on the supporting end, and that pass there very disappointing after not having an opportunity so many times making that run. However, she finally got the opportunity and made a very feeble pass. Ball goes out for a throw-in. And with a win, Southeast, if the current scores do hold, Southeast would be moving away from the 8th place position, and actually they would take over 6th place from Dublanc. And then you have the captain breaking away again, getting around one player, lining up the shot and taking the shot and getting it to goal. And that's a brace for the captain for Southeast, the number 3. She has 2 goals here this evening. Definitely seems intent on keeping that promise of improving her team's league position. 2 goals, and the score is now getting around one player, 2-0, lining up the shot and taking the shot and getting it to goal in the 18th minute of play. Southeast seem to be making quite light work of Dublanc here. Dublanc, the women's team, definitely not as strong and competent as their male counterparts. However, they definitely seem to have a clear plan of trying to build up through the middle. However, they just don't seem to have the technical skill available to make it happen. Advantage played there by the referee. Players seem unable to recognize. Very good job there by the central defender, boarding her, the attacker off the ball and clearing her lines. And oh, could that have been the hat-trick? Very good interception made there. However, the ball comes back to the number 20, and she eventually gets it to the captain, who trickles it over to her support on the far side, who is eventually able to keep possession. And here she goes again. But the Dublanc team, realizing her danger, has crowded her out with numbers and have won back the ball. Possession eventually scrambled away from the number 10 there. Seems like a very dangerous figure. However, the ball is won back in the defense. However, the Southeast attackers seem to be completely burnt out after 20 minutes. And Dublanc now has the option of taking their time to come forward. A very unique type of football experience right there. You find that the ladies definitely don't seem to be, I don't want to say they're not up to it, they just seem to be struggling a bit. But here you have the captain breaking away for a third time. Can she score her hat-trick? And this shot is clearly off target, and she is only registered another shot. Not on target, just another shot. And the player who was down gets up. Seems that she was just taking a bit of a rest, figuring that she may be a bit tired. And we have a pause in the action. The referee coming here to the side on the water break being requested here. Not unfair suggestion. I think that it is an unbalanced matchup, and maybe the players might not be able to last the entirety of the 90 minutes. So maybe a water break. Whilst it was originally conceived for the heat, I think it is inevitably for the overall fitness of the player. And Southeast again on the ball to number 20. Is this her opportunity to score? And she chips the ball past for her teammate, however her teammate was not expecting that pass. And Dublanc able to escape. And there's one player on the other side, however the ball does not go to the other side of the field and it goes straight to the goalkeeper. However, the goalkeeper only clears the ball back to her opponents, and the header by the defenders allows her to eventually collect possession. And now she seems to be lined up for a big boot, which she sends all the way wide, that her defender is able to collect. Seemed like a bit of a pusher, however, ball bobbles about and comes to the 20, who pushes the ball very firmly towards her forward, but good job there by the defense. And the ball is rolled forward, trying to get on the breakaway, and eventually rolls out of bounds. Just a bit of running practice there for the assistant referee. And we have a water break in being given. So we're just going to take a quick pause for the water breaks, and during that time I'll see if I can get my hands on the starting lineups. Okay, and during the break we were able to secure the lineups, so let's just go over them for you. For Dublanc, number 16, Shade Drago. Number 12, Royal Fountain. Number 19, Kiera James. Number 4, Charlotte Gabriel. Number 5, Soraya Charles. Number 22, Denise Gabriel. Number 4, Kian George. Number 20, Shario Panfir. And number 15, Shamia Sango. That's Dublanc. And Southeast, we have number 20, Lindell Pascal. Number 3, goal scorer Kenisha John Lewis. Number 25, Kiana Pascal. Number 10, Zaraya Pascal. Number 4, Rian John Baptist, and the game is just about to begin. Number 19, Maris Joseph, and number 1, Samara Charles in goal. Ball coming here to Maris. Maris driving forward. She and Kenisha have had a good link up. She tends to favor Kenisha, and she does seem to have some skill, but she leaves the ball and Royal is able to take over. However, Kenisha does a good job of sparing her blushes and winning the ball back. Foot fall through. Linda Pascal only able to catch the ball and send it back. However, the ball goes in there and the clearance made and it falls right to Kenisha, and Kenisha is trying to find her teammate there. Zaraya seemed a bit unaware of the ball. And Kena, almost like a bulldozer in the middle of the pack there, not really allowing her opponent to clear out. However, here comes Charles, the goalkeeper, very quick off her line and bouncing off Shario. And Kira just unable to keep the ball in play there. And the ball cleared there, Shawi Panfier. Playing the ball forward to the number 14, Kian George. However, Kian unable to keep it in play. Ball control there by Soraya Charles. Soraya doing okay so far in the defensive end. And the cross comes in, the goalkeeper was off the line and the attempt came coming in there. Can't see exactly the player who attempted that very ambitious and a very good job there by Kira. Clear trip there by the player Shamia Sango, number 15. Definitely seemed to just upend her opponent there. And it's good to see Charlotte Gabriel still giving her best to the youngsters, giving them that support, that leadership. Kudos to Charlotte. Definitely one of the heroes of women's football for still being a part of it, even if she's not part of a necessarily strong club, but for the young girls, giving them an opportunity, somebody to lead, and a good job there. But a bit too long with the ball. Royal a bit confused there, and a foul given to Surgical Southeast. The Maris winning the foul there. Definitely didn't seem to be much contact. Rolling ball. Kina definitely seems to be a very formidable opponent. Maris seems to be a bit of a dribbler. And the ball goes into the middle. However, Shala is able to clear, and Shala is under more pressure as the ball comes in. Attempted 1-2. However, Dublanc able to break away. Kena again ending any sight of danger, any possibility of danger for Kirt Hector Southeast. But again, they keep putting themselves under a bit of pressure. And the ball gets through, getting under her man. Can she create Zaraya? Crosses the ball in for Maris. However, it's easily collected there by the goalkeeper. For Kenisha, sorry, Maris is the number 19, the defender. And Zaraya is the number 10 who crossed the ball in on the far side. Shawiu playing the ball back. And Dublanc able to get away. And she's finally able to get around Kena. And that seems, again, another push by Kena. And she eventually gets the shot off. However, it's only a dribbler off target in the end. And the goalkeeper, Charles, is able to only throw it out as far as the Dublanc team. Doesn't seem to be a very good thrower of the ball, but Dublanc are on the attack here. They have an opportunity and the ball comes in. However, the goalkeeper again. And she's able to drive away. Zaraya breaking away again, slowing down to get around her opponents and shoots. And foot clearance made there, but only to Kenisha. And Kenisha scores a beautiful third goal for a hat-trick. And that is 3 goals here to Kirt Hector, Southeast FC. Kenisha John Baptist. Am I saying it right? Kenisha, not Kenisha. Kenisha John Lewis. Kenisha John Lewis. Oh, Kenisha, I'm sorry for saying your name so poorly. And foot clearance made there, but only to Kenisha. And Kenisha scores a beautiful third goal for hat-trick. John Lewis has 3 goals here in the first half. Completely dominant display by her and her Sajiko Southeast team. Dublanc probably finally trying to get it in gear, but the ball goes all the way back to Shario, who passes it to Shala. Shala takes the touch and passes it onto the far side. Dublanc doing a much better job of stringing the passes together, and the ball goes into the middle, and the ball just sneaks away, unable to find the breaking Royal, who was wide open for the pass. 1-2 play there. However, the pass and probably seemed like a bit of a foul there, a bit of contact when the player was escaping. However, no foul. It's not table tennis. There will be some contact in the game, and the ball goes out for a throw-in to Dublanc. Southeast just content to keep possession, trying to. However, they give the ball away to Drygo, and Drygo starts to move forward. However, again, Kina is there for Kina Pascal. A solid, very robust figure, the number 25 for the Kirt Hector Southeast so far in the middle of defense. Has really not allowed Dublanc to get anything going, has been a very firm figure in the heart of the defensive zone, involved in most good things that they have done. And the ball is cleared out here. Bouncing a bit, bobbling, no one wants to keep it. However, Maris eventually takes it under control, loses out to Royal, and Royal eventually gets it over the goal, but however, the ball hit her hand before eventually going inside, and no goal can be scored from a ball that directly contacted the hand. So very good call there by the referee, shows that he is very much in tune with the current laws of the game. And we have a restart here, which is taken quickly. Surprised that the Southeast goalkeeper did not come out. She has usually been very keen to come out earlier in the game. However, this time she was not so adventurous. Royal getting around her man and eventually finding the number 5 there. The number 5, Soraya Charles. Soraya making a run forward to come support her. However, there was no positive result. Another fall through by Southeast Maris, and Kenisha really have had some trouble here on this near side, throwing the ball. But Royal has no such trouble and throws the ball in very nicely, and Kian trying to win possession back here. Good job there by Southeast, not only winning back possession but keeping possession. However, the number 10, they're just trying to do too much with the ball. Number 10 is Zariah Pascal. Lindell Pascal. Lindell just doing a bit too much, and there's Zariah on the ball now, being found by Kenisha. Zariah really has tormented her opponents, and the shot comes in, but it's very wide and very team. 36 minutes gone, 37th minute of the game. The moments tick away. Sajiko Southeast is very much in control of the game. Dublanc FC don't really seem to have much fight in them, but it's very good to see them out here trying to give it as close to their best as possible. Ball goes forward there. However, again, Kena is there, and the ball goes to Kanisha. Kanisha leaves the ball for the Zariah, who tries to play her on. However, Shawiyu is there, but only is able to find Maris, and Maris plays in Kanisha again. The hat-trick hero, can she create? Support being given there by Maris, and the ball comes. Only Zariah in the middle, attempt to find her, and attempts again. However, much too short, and Zariah is able to clear. Kena doing a very good job of keeping Kian away from the ball, and eventually wins a foul there. Again, whilst Kenisha might be the player who gets most of the plaudits for the goals, I think Kena has been excellent in the center of defense. She really has not given Dublanc any sniff. There was just that one clear opportunity for Royal Fontaine after the ball had ricocheted past her. However, for the most part, she has been superb. Ball shouted out of play, and it will be a throw-in to Southeast. To Dublanc, sorry. Shawiyu on the ball. Playing the ball forward to Royal, but Kena sprinting away and gets there first and takes the ball away, passes it back to her goalkeeper. Again, some really excellent work from Kena, and a clear out there by the goalkeeper again. Goalkeeper very brave, and there you have Kenisha John Lewis getting away from Zariah. Zariah doing a good job to get back, and eventually for allowing Charlotte to come and help her, unable to find Shawiyu in the middle, and Zariah is now on the ball. Zariah, will she take aim? The tackle comes in there by Zariah, and Charlotte does the eventual cleanup. Trigo on the ball. Trigo gives it away. Back with John Lewis. John Lewis in the middle for Maris. Maris plays a very good one-time pass, a bit deep. The cut back, and the shot comes in, and definitely some disappointment there from Maris. Maris had gotten herself into a very good position and seemed very disappointed that her captain, Kenisha John Lewis, did not pass the ball back. Maris Joseph, the defender there, had gotten herself all the way forward after playing the beautiful 1-2. Definitely expected the ball back. Maris definitely seems to be a player who has some football background or some football experience. She seems very confident with her skills. And that's the half. The first half has come to an end here, and the scores are 3-0. Kenisha John Lewis scoring all 3 goals for Kirt Hector Southeast. As the score stands, they would leapfrog Dublanc into 6th position and drop them into 7th. We will be back shortly after a quick break for the second half. And foot clearance made there, but only to Kenisha. And Kenisha scores a beautiful third goal. Breaking away again, getting around one player, lining up the shot, and taking the shot and getting it to goal! And that's a brace. There in support, can she find them? She pulls the ball back, lets the man go by, and it's a goal! And we are back here. Second half just on the way. Dublanc starting off. Shawiu passing the ball forward. And it gets forward to Royal Fontaine. Can Dublanc change the fortunes, however. Just like my grandma, the attempt started out and Southeast were able to recover. Southeast team, Maris on the far side. Forced out by Royal Fontaine. Royal pressuring that ball out of bounds. Very small and appreciative crowd here at the Stock Farm Technical Complex. Southeast usually travels with a few fans, and it not being a weekend, I could understand why that so few people have come out. Maris definitely is having some issues with her throwing. Her action doesn't seem to be smooth, which is why I think the referee has been penalizing her. She starts and stops with the throw, and the ball goes over her head, and Kana taking one of her few missteps for the evening, and free kick is awarded to Dublanc. Again, good evening to all our listeners on Facebook, the preferred platform for this broadcast here this evening. 3-0 the score. Kenisha John Lewis, the number 3, the captain, leading from the front, scoring all 3 goals, including a beautiful 3rd goal tucked away into the top corner. But now she's attacking the Roseau end, and maybe she might have some of the fortunes over. Shawiu stepping up, chipping it over, and the ball is caught there by the keeper. Keeper running away to the edge of her box and plays the ball forward, and her team is getting there. Can Maris get there? No, she cannot. Maris and Kenisha trying to break on that ball. However, they were unsuccessful. And it should be noted that the game is being played 7 versus 8. However, Dublanc is not the team with 7 players. Southeast is. Southeast definitely the more robust unit with 3 solid defenders and 3 solid attackers and a lightning quick goalkeeper who has been all the way out to the middle of her half to defend the ball. And there you have Maris giving away the throw-in on the far side there. Again, it's been a very tough battle for Dublanc. They've not really been given much chance. Very young team. Seem to be a very inexperienced team against a bunch of ladies who definitely know where the goal is, and they have scored 3 here, and the ball falling to Shawiu Panfie. Shawiu can get the ball under control, and Southeast seem able to collect. However, Shawiu is doing a good job of getting back there, and the ball going out wide. However, Kana and the goalkeeper are all there, and Southeast able to deal with the situation as a unit. And the goalkeeper passing the ball all the way across the goal. That's just how easy it is here for Southeast, breaking the number 1 rule of football. Don't pass the ball around your goal. And Maris trying to dribble herself out of trouble here. However, dribbling into the attacker and eventually losing possession. And the ball comes across. However, it does not enter the 6-yard box in play. Goes over the goal line, and it is a goal kick. And the fake pass there, and the ball goes into Kana in the middle. However, she gives away possession, and Dublanc has an opportunity. However, her blushes are spared there by her defensive partner on the other side, and Dublanc are unable to alter the scoreline. It remains 3-0 in favor of Sajiko Hector John Southeast FC. The Sajiko so common with the Southeast brand. However, in the women's edition, it is the Kirt Hector Southeast FC. A nice touch there. A nice touch by the Southeast team. I think in naming the women's team after Kirt. Very noble. And Maris plays the ball forward there to Kenisha. Kenisha not expecting that firm pass, and the ball rolls harmlessly out of bounds. And it will be ball to Dublanc. And a good job there to escape. And she's driving forward, the number 20. However, she's unable to find Zaria. However, the number 4 there. And the referee does not make the call, allows the game to play. Seemed to be a clear handball there. However, it eventually gets to Maris, who is trying to find Kenisha on her side, who is trying to Royal Fountain, attempted to defend, however, Royal left in the dust, and now the ball unable to find Zaria. The ball hits the goalkeeper, the referee, sorry, and it will be a drop ball from the spot, and they will be allowed to continue. Zaria losing possession in the middle. Zaria coming away with the ball for Dublanc. And plays the ball in behind to the number 15. However, the Southeast defender is there to be fouled. Foul given away there. Player landing heavily on the ground. However, she had done a very good job of scampering over, winning possession back for her team, and eventually winning the foul. So, winning the ball back. However, the defender again clearing the ball down the field. Small character, but she's been very steady for her team. Again, the Southeast team seems to be, they definitely seem to be a box of chocolates. They don't seem to be a very big or aggressive bunch, but they have definitely stuck to their task of taking the game to their opponents, and that they have done very well, and they have really put their opponents under immense pressure. And there you have Pascal going around Fountain, and Fountain falling to the ground. Panfier not controlling the ball. Dry go, trying to clear, but under the pressure from the captain, succeeds. Very good control there by Pascal, and plays in Zaria. Zaria, can she score a goal? Takes her time and strikes on goal, and a save. Was that a save made there? Not sure what the signal was. Probably a goal kick. However, the ball has gone out. Young Fountain definitely seems to be in a bit of pain here. The beat of your dreams. Oh, if they catch you that in FIFA, better know the controller going down. I finish play with you. And them kind of thing you doing me, man? Nah, man. Nah, man, I'm going home. My mother says time to turn off the TV. No more game. Oh, it was that type of deception. Very good bit of ball control there, and just left a man in the dust, figuratively and literally, at the Stock Farm Technical Complex. Well, in the rubber, because there isn't any dust on the pitch. It's an artificial pitch, so it's the little rubber pellets that get stuck in your shoe. And she definitely has some in hers, because hopefully she's able to continue. Applying her own spray. She is a medic. She does perform the medic duties for the men's senior team. so she definitely knows how well the spray works. She has applied many pounds of that spray over the season thus far. And the game is restarted. It was a goal kick, in fact. Charlotte passing the ball out to Saraya under some pressure from Saraya. Saraya losing out to Saraya. And all the eyes have my ear a bit sore. But here we go. It's a throw into surface. Quick throw. Not really sure what the fall throw was there. Didn't seem like that was an okay throw. However, the assistant referee definitely was right on top of the action and he determined that was inappropriate. Not sure the signal was the appropriate signal, however, it was the appropriate call in the end. And Zaraya colliding again, and this time Zaraya coming out on top. Will she foul again? No, she does not. Very much improved. And the teammates collide. Pascal eventually finding Zaraya. Zaraya putting her head up, crossing the ball in, and it gets in! And it's a beautiful double save there by the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper having to make 2 saves to prevent Kenisha John Lewis from scoring again, but she completes them very well, I must add. In the end, getting a hand on both balls there and preventing her opponents from adding to their tally. The score remains 3-0. Ball comes in, Zaraya misses the ball completely. Zaraya has definitely not covered herself in glory. She has had a few opportunities and she puts the ball in again and almost finds Kenisha, but Kenisha is able to find it and she lays it off and the ball eventually comes to Maris and Maris misses the ball completely. She was so upset about not getting a goal opportunity in the first half and she completely botched her opportunity here in the second half. What's going on? What's going on? More info in the comment box. Oh, and then you have Fountain coming back onto the field. Injury worries have elapsed, would seem. And the ball goes back over. And Kenisha is there and gets between the 2 defenders, escapes the tackle, but not the second, and eventually the save is made. The goalkeeper is able to collect. And Maris does the defensive duty there, all on her own on the far side. Not another player on the left side currently for Southeast. However, Kana is there in the middle and she eventually wins the ball back, finds Maris, who is able to find a teammate, Lindell, who gives the ball to Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu finds the pass and it seems the Olays are out. However, Kana, with a very composed play, finds Zaraya. Zaraya able to break, taking on Shala, getting around Shala very easily. Zaraya taking on the shots and it's just wide again. Zaraya is like that snow in December, almost, but not in Florida. Almost. But no snow in the Sunshine State and no goal for Zaraya. Coming close again, she's had a few shots. Definitely been one of the key attacking outlets here for Southeast. Not a goal scorer, but definitely a constant source of pressure for her opponents. Good job there on the defensive end. And again, the number 4 doing a good job. Royal Fountain shielding the ball out of play. And eventually they win the throw-in. Possession turning over here. And John Lewis again is on the break. Can she make it 4? She takes the shot. And a beautiful save made there by the goalkeeper, tipping that over the bar. Very, very good save there made by the goalkeeper. Very firm shot. Firm shot taken. And the ball slapped away. Very good attempt there. Very unfortunate not to have a more positive result. However, no goal. Game rolling to a steady conclusion, and the ball drops at the feet, and the 4th goal does come in, not by the consistent goal scorer. However, we have a new goal scorer, and they are coming to the camera just as the boys do it. Lindell Pascal scoring a goal and celebrating as the guys do, coming to the camera and giving him something for the fans. Game rolling to a steady conclusion, and the ball drops at the feet, and the 4th goal does come in. Of East. Panfi allowed to just walk forward with the ball, but it now comes to Drago. Drago passes to Saraya. Saraya trying to find Fountain. However, offside the call. However, Keenan was there on duty to ensure not really a lot was going to come from that for Dublanc. However, the referee, the assistant had his flag up for an infraction. Referee just asking that the restart be taken properly. And the ball given away there. Saraya on the ball. Has options. Pass the ball to Shaoyu. However, the wing on the far side, and the definitely seems to be a trip. And a penalty. Maris getting on the wrong side of her opponent and eventually bringing her to the ground. And a penalty given. Pass the ball to Shaoyu. However, the wing on the far side, and the definitely seems to be a trip. And a penalty.
By this side now. I was thinking
and the free kick here taken by number 14 Kian George, and that's a goal. Kian George pulling one back for Dublanc here, so the score is now 4-1 in favor of Kirt Hector Southeast. Saraya Charles just dropping the ball back on midfield there as the team gets back
Well, make it the next one.
Ball played on right here to Lindell Pascal. And given away here. Shall you in the middle again? And the same way the penalty was given is just that they were not in the penalty area. Oh, and the media by Shao Padre sends a small crowd alight. The crowd going up in excitement. They're very supportive of the move, but however, Zariah is now on the ball, supported by Kenisha and Lindell, and Kirt Hector Southeast are driving forward, and the ball goes to Lindell, who takes the shot, and it will only result in a free. Throw-in, goal kick, sorry, goal kick, restart of play. Nice and easy. Saraya driving forward, finding Royal, but Lindell providing a bit of a problem. Royal eventually winning the foul from Lindell. Ball trying to find Shamia Sango. However, her opponent, number 4, in close proximity. The number 4 being Rian John Baptist. Rian tried to get there again. However, the ball finally gets past Kena. However, no one is there. And the ball goes out to Kenisha's direction, and Kenisha is able to bring the ball under control, and now she has 5 Dublanc attackers to attack, and she seems that she has gotten around most of them, and she takes a shot, and it's a goal! Kenisha scoring 4 goals here, and 5-1 the updated scoreline as we move to the conclusion of the game. 4-0 the score. Seems that she has gotten around most of them, and she takes a shot, and it's a goal! But I don't think that team is a team. I think they're a marketing enterprise. So we're not going to talk about them, but we're talking about Kirt Hector Southeast, who are really and truly dominating their opponents, and the ball goes across. Shamaya trying to find her teammate on the opposite wing. And it definitely seems that the Lawrence and Co Lawrence are doing a very good job with the Southeast team, because they definitely seem to be on the top of the pile. Well, on top in this matchup, Zariah trying to be the next goal scorer, actually the only member of the forwards who has not scored. Lindell has 1, and Kenisha has 4. 5-1, but Zariah has had a lot of missed opportunities. A number of opportunities where she has missed just wide or been thwarted by a defender or the goalkeeper. Player seems to be having some issues with their calf, a bit of cramping. Cramping is never fun. I can tell you from some experiences I had. But it's not about me, it's about the players. It's been a good game. an entertaining game here at the Stock Farm Technical Complex between the ladies from Dublanc and the ladies from Southeast. It's been good. It's been an entertaining affair. Just a bit of a water break here. The referee had given them a break earlier in the half, and that is not because of the temperature, because it is very nice and cool here at Stock Farm. However, there are only 17 players on the field, so just to give them a bit of a break, allow them to catch themselves and to recover. And a bit of sportsmanship, it seems like the goalkeeper is bringing some water to the assistant referee all the way on the far side. Or I guess he was asking if she could leave the field to fill her bottle, but I guess the answer was no, and she has decided to leave it in two. And the game is about to be restarted. Offside there on Zaraya, and I guess she thought she had escaped, but she thought wrong. And tried to take a bit too much on the throw in there, on the free kick, sorry, not being allowed by the assistants. But Zaraya is once again in possession, seemed to be frightened of the ball. Sid, try go controlling the ball. Plays it back to Saraya. Saraya driving forward. Trying to get around Lindell. But then Lindell is fouled. But Zaraya escapes with the ball and Shala plays the ball out for the throw in. Ball to Xiao Yu Panfir. Xiao Yu plays a one-time pass. However, Kenisha doing a good job of not allowing her man to really get away. And again, I think this is really has been the spirit of the Southeast team. Despite the fact that they have had less numbers, they have really played the entire game, attack, defense, and transition as well as they can. And they've done a very good job so far of really keeping their opponents off balance. However, another goal definitely seemed to be an own goal coming off the defender. However, they keeping their opponents off balance. However, another 6-1 the score. Zaraya seemed to be involved, but that ball may have just been going out of bounds. However, it is now 6-1, and Dublanc trying to save face, trying to create some sort of attacking opportunity. Zaraya bought it out of the way, and a foul given there, a bit too excessive, maybe excessive force, but Zaraya just didn't seem to be prepared for the action that was about to grace her doorstep, and she just seemed to be bodied out of the way. No need for the medics. She wants to prove that she's a big girl and she does not need so much pampering. However, there was one thing they always said when we were in school, that when it hurts in you and is yours, rub it. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed to rub it if it hurts in you.
Oh, you playing the game on the outside there.
And the ball is pushed forward. Kenisha has another opportunity. Lindell there with support. And the ball goes back to Lindell. However, Saraya steals it away and gets away. And there are now 4 surgical players in the Dublanc half. However, Maris and Lindell have gotten back. And Kana has basically stopped the attack. And Maris is now trying to get the ball away and eventually does win the foul. And that bit of attack is over. Zaraya gets around the defender and plays the ball into the net, and for sure she is the goal scorer of that last goal. Zaraya finally getting her name onto the score sheet. She's definitely been one of the key figures for her team. Zaraya gets around the defender and plays the ball into the net, and Kirt Hector, Southeast, leaving no doubt as to who is the superior team. Ball going out on the far side there. Maris in control. Didn't get that goal. She decided and gave up possession there. However, she does have Kana in support, and the ball goes to Xiaoyu, and Xiaoyu makes the pass. However, her teammate had run into an offside position, and all for naught. And the ball is with Kana in the middle of the field. Kana finds Zaraya. The ball beats Zaraya. And the foul eventually won there by the young Dublanc defender, doing a very good job there, showing some strength, holding off her opponent, and eventually getting the nod from the assistants. Very good job there, indeed, by the young defender, Maris. Almost winning that ball back, but Kana forced to defend, and Kana getting the ball in the way and blocking away any attempt at an attack for Dublanc there, and the ball goes out of play for a corner. Very good bit of play there, defensive work by the young lady. She has really been instrumental in keeping the opposition out of her team's danger areas. Has really been a block, a wall that Dublanc has not been able to successfully climb or manage during this encounter. It's been a good game so far, but I'm definitely going to have to say that the woman of the match, the man of the match, undoubtedly has to be Kenisha John Lewis for an excellent star-studded 4-goal performance. She had the opportunity to score a lot more than 4 goals. Xiao Yupan there with a very errant corner which goes straight out of bounds, and a goal kick to Kirt Hector Southeast is the result. Very strange. It seemed that it seems that the referee was just waiting for the Dublanc player to exit and Zaraya with the fake there on Zaraya, leaving the ball and running away. She's very quick, but only running into Charlotte and receiving the ball back from Lindell. And the shot block there, Zaraya coming all the way back to make the block. And Zaraya playing that ball out eventually for a throw-in. Linda, back to Rian, back to Linda. Linda actually plays the ball directly to Zaraya, and the ball is left. However, Kenisha is unable to gain possession, and Dublanc are able to come away.
Run for run!
Kina is there, however, and plays the ball out for another throw-in. Kina, definitely a player who I have enjoyed watching here this evening. She has definitely not allowed her opponents any room, any slack, any opportunity to really put her team under any significant pressure. And I think her performance has definitely been one of the key factors in her team's very, very dominant display. Ball going down the line, but again Kina is there using her body and just shielding the ball out to safety. Throw in though. See, taking a bit too much time on the ball and getting tackled there. Seemed to be a foul, but the referee says play on. And Zaraya misses again. Back to her normal modus operandi of getting into the corner and playing the ball just wide of the post. Tantalizingly close, but oh so far away. And even though the crowd is small, they are very vocal. They have been really into the action. I think they've been very supportive of the ladies, and the ladies in turn have given them maybe not the show they have would be accustomed to if Dublanc was playing Southeast 1-1 earlier in the second round. However, in the men's Premier League, this has been an entertaining affair. Oh, long are the days Southeast would pummel Dublanc 6-1, and how they would so wish it could happen in the men's division. But this is the women's division, and they are doing a good job of proving to be the better side. That is definitely not up for debate. Dublanc has by far and away been the minnows in the battle of the giants here this evening. And Kina again winning the ball and playing the teammate in. Lindell Pascal playing the ball in and no one attacking the ball. And Dublanc able to clear their lines.
Nice body, man.
Maris, can she score her goal? And the referee blows the whistle when she was attacking. Very unfortunate for Maris, no goal for her, but goals for Zariah, Lindell, and Kenisha, own goal as well. And the score 6-1 here at the Stock Farm Technical Complex. And should we have a quick word with some of the players? And we're off. It's been a quiet evening here, not really much to say. 6-1. Woman of the match, not man of the match, woman of the match, Kenisha John Lewis, and a good wrap to her evening. So for myself, Jordan Luke, Stream Genius, your broadcasting partners, it's been a great evening. Goodbye. See you again when we see you again. There in support, can she find them? She pulls the ball back, lets the man go by, and it's a goal! Breaking away again, getting around one player, lining up the shot, and taking the shot and getting it to goal! And that's a break. And foot clearance made there, but only to Kenisha, and Kenisha scores a beautiful game rolling to a steady conclusion, and the ball drops at the feet, and the fourth goal does come in. Pass the ball to Shawiu. However, the wing on the far side, and the definitely seems to be a trip. And taken by number 14. Seems that she has gotten around most of them, and she takes the shot, and it's a goal. Really keeping their opponents off balance. However, another. Zariah gets around the defender and plays the ball into the net,